Monday, January 24th, 2022, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So the Russians have fired a shot across the bow of the petrodollar. One of their major politicians in the Duma, which is the equivalent of the Russian Congress, has said that Russia would accept a stablecoin, a cryptocurrency controlled by the state and also backed by gold. And yes, we're hearing a lot of stories from the mainstream media, especially from governments in the West, about how Russia wants to invade the Ukraine. Yes, it is a big geopolitical test for a dying empire, in my opinion. It's not just about controlling what's going on in the Ukraine, but it's also controlling what's going on in other parts of the world in relationship to China. It's about the Anglo-American empire maintaining its unipolar power to bring democracy, right? Their excuse, Martin Wolf wrote in the FT this weekend that the unipolar US empire is better because it brings democracy to the world. Well, he didn't say that it brings democracy and it lets countries do what they want independently. That, of course, is as long as they follow what the Americans and the Anglo-American empire wants them to do, right? Am I defending the Russians and the Chinese? No, but I'm just talking about what's going on. And I think this is very significant. A stable coin, and we know about Tether, yes, but this would be state controlled, I would say. Is that better? Well, ideally, if you do get a gold-backed ruble or stable coin, cryptocurrency, whatever you want to call it, I'd want to see a mechanism where you could redeem that for real gold. I'm holding here in my hand a 10 ruble gold piece from 1899. You can see here, 10 rubles. And on the obverse, of course, you've got Tsar Nicholas II, the last Tsar of Russia. And this coin, yes, it's still worth something. It's 8.6 grams and it's 90% fine. So they were on the same purity as the dollar. Dollar is 90%. So the gold content of this coin is just under 1/4 of an ounce. So it would be great to see a stable coin backed by gold. The story says that this crypto or stable coin would be mined under rules, state rules in Russia. But wouldn't it be great that you could redeem it? Let's say if you had some Russian ruble stable coins that you could redeem for something like that. Well, I'm not sure that will happen, but it's a big threat to the petrodollar. And why is that? Well, because as we know, since 1971 or August 15th, 1971, the dollar has not been backed by money or by gold. It's been backed by the faith and confidence that people have, investors and other countries have in the United States government. Of course, they have used their power, military power, to impose the petrodollar on other countries, right, Mr. Wolf? Very, very democratically imposed, of course. So Martin Wolf of the FT, in this editorial over the weekend, he says that Russia and the Chinese want to impose an autocratic world order, but isn't a unipolar world run by the Americans? And I would say it's mini-me, the British. Isn't that autocratic as well? Look what happened in Venezuela. They want to run things independently, and the UK and the US have blocked the president there, recognized by the UN, from having his gold. So is it any better? But yeah, and is it any wonder that the drums of war are being beaten right now against Russia? All this talk that Russia is going to invade the Ukraine. But as I said, it's all about the power of a dying empire, I would say. And the currency, unfortunately, is inversely or, well, no, it's inversely related to a very powerful empire. So the fact that the dollar is on its last legs, and I don't mean to say that there won't be a dollar in 10, 20, 30 years time, but it will not be readily accepted as it is today, because it will be just like any other currency, and America will have to earn its way in order to buy goods and services from abroad. They won't just be able to print the money and buy it. They'll have to earn it. And how does that work? Well, you have to produce something of value, not just debt, to export to the world so you can earn other currencies. And hopefully those currencies will have gold backing, and also silver backing, I would say, would be a good thing. A bimetallic system is always better, I would say. So this is the story here. We've had Zero Hedge cover it. We've had Bitcoin.com cover it. And last night, I hadn't heard of this story. It came out late yesterday. And during the live stream, which I do a live stream every Sunday for those of you who are new to the channel, and it starts at 9 p.m. London, and it usually goes for about an hour. And I usually start a little earlier than 9, even though it's set for 9. So if you're interested, yes, attend my live streams. But one of the viewers said, put this headline through, and I wasn't sure if it was real or if it was just a joke. I hadn't seen it, but this morning I've looked into it, and it is a story. So Bitcoin.com says Russia may allow crypto mining and gold-backed stablecoins, lawmaker says. Am I trying to tell you here, go out and buy gold, it's going to go through the roof, buy silver? No. I've been telling people for the last 6 years that it's good to have some monetary insurance, because gold and silver are money. And if you really want to understand what kind of system we're under, read this article here written by John Exter back in 1972. I owe you nothing, about the dollar being I owe you nothing. And I'm going to put a link to it below in the description, and it will help you understand what kind of system we're in. So anyway, back to the story. It says Russia can legalize cryptocurrency mining and stablecoins backed by gold under government control, a high-ranking member of the Russian parliament has suggested. The statement comes after Bank of Russia proposed a wide-ranging ban on the use of cryptocurrencies and their trading and mining. The free circulation of cryptocurrencies must not be allowed, as they carry risks for unqualified investors, but Russia may permit the use of gold-backed stablecoins and the mining of cryptocurrencies under government control. The chairman of the State Duma Committee on Industry and Trade, Vladimir Gutenev, told the RIA Novosti news agency on Thursday. The Central Bank of Russia published a consultation paper in which it presented its comprehensive view on cryptocurrencies. The monetary authority proposed to prohibit coin operations through the Russian financial system, crypto investments, exchange and mining in the country. Meanwhile, the bank has launched the pilot phase of its own digital ruble project. So it goes on to say cryptocurrencies should be banned. Gutenev agreed, but Russia could make use of a stablecoin denominated in gold under state control. Such a financial product would be an interesting proposition for both private investors and companies. It can also be used for saving, the deputy said, quoted by the Prime Business News portal. The gold-backed stablecoin could be similar to a golden ruble, the parliamentarian elaborated, and Russia can employ it to circumvent sanctions and policy of containment applied against the country. The coin can also be used to facilitate regular and transparent economic relations with other nations. I would say it's not surprising that a lot of countries bought a lot of gold relative to what they'd been buying before in 2021. Countries like Brazil, Poland. So yes, this is very interesting. I know the purpose of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin was to decentralize things. But I would argue that the crypto space right now, especially Bitcoin, is far from being decentralized. I think Tether is a big problem. It's not really backed one-to-one, and we know that. They haven't had an audit. So I think in a year, 2 or 3, people will mention this if there's any kind of conflict between the West and Russia in the near future as it pertains to the Ukraine. People are going to say, well, the Russians announced a gold-backed yuan, and is it any surprise that there's so much pressure now from NATO? But to be honest, my opinion is that nothing will come out of the Saber rattling in the West and NATO, the US and the UK. I don't think we are in a position to challenge Russia and China, because I think China would back Russia in a potential world conflict. And I don't think we want a world conflict of the 3 major nuclear powers in the world right now. I think in a multipolar world where there isn't, well, there will be some currencies that are more, how can I say, traded around the world, because some countries have bigger economies. But what I think is going to happen is that those currencies are going to be backed by apolitical money, which is gold and silver, and not backed by the power of any country, so to speak. Yes, like with the petrodollar. So with that, let's quickly look at where the markets are this morning. It's 8:45 a.m. London time. So we've got spot gold at 1840.50. It's up just over $5 or just under $6, or 1/3%. The high has been 1841.71. The low has been 1831.50. Silver is underperforming slightly this morning. We're down about 7 cents, 24.22. Low has been 24.08. The high 24.32. Stock markets fairly firm right now, early on, but we've seen this year that unlike in the previous years when the stock market was strong in the pre-open, in the futures, they would stay strong, but this year it's been the opposite. So I wouldn't be surprised if we would see this, we could see the stock market go back down. But right now the Dow is up 0.5% or 185 points, 34,420. The NASDAQ 100 future is up 1% or 140 points. S&P 500 is up 0.75% or 31 points. The FTSE, on the other hand, is down 15 points at 74.71. To the currencies, the fiat currencies, of course. Sterling is down slightly here at 135.43. The euro is down 0.25%, 113.16. The dollar is up, well, actually unchanged versus the Japanese yen, 113.68. And the dollars continue to flounder. It doesn't look very good against the yuan, as you can see by this chart. We're at 633.35. It's down 0.1%. Aussie dollar is down 0.25%, 71.58. The dollar is unchanged versus the Canadian dollar, 125.82. And the Kiwi dollar is down about 0.15% at 67.05. WTI crude is up 0.5%, 85.44. High-grade copper is down 1.6%, 444.60. And the 10-year yield right now, let's see where that is to finish off. 10-year yield is unchanged at 1.75%. Of course, we've got the FOMC meeting starting today and ending tomorrow. Don't expect anything from the Fed just yet in terms of rate hikes. If they're going to raise rates, it could be in March. But with all the economic data that we're seeing, pointing to a slowdown, not just in the US, but all around the world in places like China, the UK. I'm not too sure if they're going to be raising rates in March. And as we've seen, they're not really tapering. They're still doing QE at the same pace they've been doing the whole of the last 12 months, I would say. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.